Everything that happens in life is done through one of two ways. Either we produce or we steal. And as an entrepreneur, this core foundational philosophy really can shape and mold what you're doing. And that's what we're going to cover in this very important episode of Agorapreneurs.
Welcome to Agorapreneurs, standing for liberty and freedom, all done peacefully. Now, here is your guide, Terry Brock.
Thank you for joining me on this very important episode of Agorapreneurs. I'm Terry Brock, and I'll be talking to you about the concept of how we live life and what we do as entrepreneurs, and also just as human beings. You see, it comes from Agorapreneurs. The whole idea is a word I made up. And preneurs part, you get that, that's the entrepreneurs, people who get out there and work and create abundance. The Agora comes from that Greek word of open spaces and people voluntarily interacting with each other. And I want to go into that really in depth because this affects you in your business. It affects how you're going to live and what you're going to do in some major ways. And so we're going to put this episode, and you're going to love it because this will give you the ability to think. And once you've got that thinking philosophy, you move forward into it. Here's a quote I saw recently I want to share with you. We decided that there were only two ways of surviving on planet Earth: production or theft. Either you produce what you need or you take from someone else. When you think about it, that's really the way it works. Only those two. And aside from a few minor gray areas, no other choice really exists. What you've got to do is realize this is the way we do it. We've got to make sure. Now, you can, of course, get a government to take it from you, or and the government doing the dirty work for you. And so really, that's what it is. It's a matter of you doing the kinds of things that need to be done. And you either produce or you steal. And when we look at those two, really it sounds simplistic, but hey, that's true. Those kind of things are what are happening in our world. You produce. And as an entrepreneur, that's what you want to do. You decide, I'm going to produce and I'm going to generate value in the world. By generating that value, you're able to help others in a live and let live philosophy. I think that is important. And that book by Paul Rosenberg, Lodging of Wayfaring Men, really says it really well. And the idea comes from that live and let live philosophy. That means you don't hit other people, you don't hurt them, you don't take their stuff. You live peacefully with others. And that's really important. And it has a lot of ramifications. And those that are nasty to each other, they don't last very long. We find that we do better when we produce and we get along with each other. And we find that if you do that, you're going to have a much better life. The idea of living peacefully and letting every action be voluntary is at the core of what we talk about with Agorapreneurs. And it's a word, like I said, I made up, and it means the idea that you're going to live life and you're going to do it peacefully. Here's a quote that I found really helpful about agorism from Agorapreneurs. Agorism is a social philosophy that advocates creating a society in which all relations between people are voluntary. Voluntary, see, that's a key term. That's voluntary exchange by means of counter-economics, engaging with aspects of non-violent, another important concept, non-violent revolution. It was first proposed by American libertarian philosopher Samuel Edward Konkin. He lived from 1947 to 2004, and we appreciate his underlying core philosophy that helps us to understand what we do and how we're going to do it, and the kind of things that we need to do to live life in a good way and live life freely. As it applies to entrepreneurs, it means that you're creating value. You're a producer who creates value for others, and they determine that it's valuable. And one of the highest compliments you can give to someone is call them a producer. When they are producing, they're creating value. And when you think about it, that's how anything really gets done on planet Earth here. We have to produce, and what people do is they produce products, they produce food so we can live, they produce services, they produce end result. And also, here's another thing. It relates to connecting with people. If you want a solution to almost any problem, something needs to be produced. If you can produce the items that your customers want at a price that is reasonable and fair to both sides, then you're going to make the sale by producing. And it also relates to what we're doing in our lives in many, many different ways. How we create value for others when there's a need for, let's say, listening. You produce listening, if you will. You produce empathy. You produce caring. And as you do that for others, you get along better in the real world. And so being a producer is really the key to being successful as an entrepreneur or an agorapreneur. The other way to acquire stuff needs to be through theft. And this is wrong and it's immoral. We as human beings have grown to see that theft is wrong and it's not very pragmatic. If anything, what we create is going to be stolen from us if theft becomes the norm. And by the way, in many cases throughout history, that's what it was. Someone came and stole it from another person. You'd create value, they'd come in and take your crops. And that's not right. We say, hey, that's wrong. So they'd form other bands of people. They would form tribes together and say, hey, we're going to protect ourselves from these people taking stuff from us. And then sometimes they went out and tried to get stuff from others, But really, the best way is a free exchange of goods and services. And we've learned that that's much more pragmatic to not steal from others, because then we're not stealing from them. They're less likely to steal from us. And we see that works in a pragmatic sense. And we've evolved in society. We've evolved over many generations. We learned that cooperation, there's a key term. Cooperation is preferred to outright theft. It helps all of us achieve more. If I help you in your time of need, you're more likely to help me in my time of need. Now, this is by no means guaranteed, but it does make pragmatic sense. So what does it mean in the real world for you and me as entrepreneurs? Well, we learn that we accomplish more and succeed more by finding what others want and providing that for them. See, that's the key. You look out there in the marketplace and you go, oh, what is it that people want? They want this? Well, then we're going to give them that. And you find what they need and what you can provide to them profitably, that's a key term, and make them happy. So you make sure that everyone is working. That's the beauty of the free market system, that we have that. It's a beautiful way to make that happen. In contrast to a command and control system of authoritarian or dictatorial governments interacting with people in a way that says, we are the boss, we will tell you what to do. The Agora lifestyle is one that is founded in Greece, where people interacted in those Agora places and worked with each other voluntarily. It creates opportunities for growth and the advancement of human beings far better than any planned, structured, and well-intentioned command and control system. Think about the classic case. Here's the classic case. The Soviet Union and their now derided and laughable 5-year plans. I mean, you'd get a bunch of people in Moscow who are really, really smart, and they really, really care, and they're going to decide how many pencils you need in Arbat, which is a marketplace I've been to in Moscow, and say they're going to do this for the month of March. How many pencils do we need in Arbat for the month of March? And they would command pencil makers, all those that make specifics in that supply chain, to create X number of pencils. Now, they mean well, but they don't know what the right amount to be available really is. And you know what? No one does. And so, like so many of communism's lofty goals, it sounds good in theory without a lot of pragmatic real-world research. But inevitably, what happened, as we now see in history, is that they either produced too many or not enough pencils in Arbat Street for March, and with too many, they've taken resources from other areas that generates the ever-present shortages and long lines that they had for other goods that people needed. So they'd have deficiency in one area and overabundance in another. The way to do that, though, is the free market system. You see, what we do we would find that in the Soviet Union, there was a black market. And the black market was the real free market. Entrepreneurs in the Soviet Union would find ways to get the pencils and other items that people need. They priced it accordingly to cover the costs and the ever-present risk, and people would get pencils that they need, often at a much higher cost. Or you had to be politically well-connected. You know somebody who knows somebody, and it would be done that way. The well-intentioned government plans really tried hard. Those planners really worked hard, and they tried to get the right amount, but often it did not work. And as a matter of fact, that was the majority of time. They're no match for the marketplace, where billions and even trillions of decisions are made very rapidly. Think about it. When you go to a restaurant, you like it, you go, hey, I like this. You tell your friends, you come back again because you like it. But if you don't like it, you do the same thing. You tell your friends you don't come back, and you do it. Those kind of trillions of decisions being made are far better than some bureaucrats in some lofty, distant place, Moscow, Washington, D.C., London, Tokyo, wherever it might be. They're making decisions for you. The free market is really about choice. And it's about, well, a free and open system of voluntary cooperation and exchange. Price, by the way, is critical, as it's a measure of what is working and what is not. Entrepreneurs watch price and know what they should and should not do, and what they can embrace and what they can't. Is it perfect? Hell no. Welcome to planet Earth. Nothing is perfect, but we have to find what is better or more likely to work. This is the solution we aim for. If you're aiming for perfection in some nirvana where everything is going to be perfect and sunshine and rainbows, that's not going to happen, okay? It doesn't. But this way will work, and this is your opportunity. This is where you have great opportunity as an entrepreneur. You have to constantly study what the market wants right now. What happened before is nice, and it's good information to know, and we can learn from it. But you have to focus on what is happening now and where it is trending for the future, where it's going. Make it your goal to find out what the market really wants and needs, and then produce dazzling value at a price level that's affordable for your customers and profitable for you. See, that's the balance of being an entrepreneur and where you want to try for that. Here at Agorapreneurs, we work to help you with both the core foundational philosophical underpinnings of why we do what we do. We've got to have that first. Otherwise, just going out and working and you don't have a real reason why, not going to happen. I love the way Simon Sinek talks about it when he says, start with why. You start with why you're doing this thing, then everything else falls into it. And what I do here is talk to you about specifics like how to use Google Docs for this trick, or some features that are in Zoom, or other pragmatic ideas for you as an entrepreneur to get ahead. That's what we're talking about here at Agorapreneurs. All those specific things really come under the live and let live philosophy. Now, if you'd like more information about this, how we can help you in business and personal life, let us know right here on YouTube or send me an email, terry@terrybrock.com. You can reach me there, and we want to be able to help you do a lot of coaching, helping people to sort it out, not only the philosophy of it, but really the specifics of communication and how to make that happen. We're working with all of that in a big way. So you reach me there, terry@terrybrock.com is my email. That'd be a good way to do it, or bounce over to terrybrock.com. And by the way, while you're here, be sure and subscribe to this. However you're getting this on the different channels we send out through podcast, through our YouTube channel, and others, we want to hear from you. Hey, I am looking forward to hearing how you are implementing the producing rather than stealing in your own marketplace. And we will continue the conversation from there. Thank you very much for joining us today here on Agorapreneurs. We're all about your freedom, liberty, and being the entrepreneur that you are, reaching out to achieve the goals that you want. Whether you're an entrepreneur on your own or maybe operating within another enterprise or organization, whether you're a solopreneur or part of a much larger enterprise, we are here for you to help you get the skills and the technology, the right thinking of mind, right frame of mind, how to increase your connections, building those relationships in business that matter. Don't forget, we've got the 5K program, help you in creating content, no charge to you. You go over and you can look at that at terrybrock.com/5K. Notice the K is lowercase, and you'll be able to get that information, no charge, and you'll also be able to sign up for the newsletter that we send out, the Agorapreneurs Power Report, so you stay right up to date on what's going on. And if you need to reach me, my email is best way to get in touch with me, terry@terrybrock.com. Hey, thanks for being with me today. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.